screen because I have prepared slides for you all just to give visual understanding to what I'm actually saying. In a minute, you are going to see my screen. Can you see the presentation? I will believe you all see it. Cool. Sorry. I know you are all muted. Awesome. As we all know today, we are talking on how to secure high value remote UI UX job. And I will perhaps, by the reason of someone raising up their hand, kindly request to keep all of your questions to the end of the presentation because there is a section I've prepared for that. So it is today to discuss on how to secure high value remote UX UI jobs. And the agenda today, I'm going to give sort of a context on why and on what this topic is. I know we all kind of like have an understanding of what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to give you from my own perspective. And also I'm going to talk about why. Why is it important? Why should you even care about what I'm talking about? Then the approach on how to secure these jobs. Now I've prepared a scenario also just to walk you through on how you can, not just me talking the talk, but actually walking the walk, then a summary, then lastly, Q&A section. Let's get to it. But I believe, first of all, who am I? Or I'm sure most of you don't know me. My name is Olalekan Clement Isaac. I'm Nigerian, but I currently live in Berlin, Germany, and I've been designing for a long time now. Yeah, I think 8+ years actually. And I have worked across multiple large and small companies, ranging from those ones in Nigeria and remotely for those in America, some in Europe, some even in Middle East. But this is more or less like a compendium of where I've actually worked. So far in my career, I've worked for companies in the US a lot actually, worked in Nigeria, in Italia, then currently I am working for a fashion store company here in Berlin, Germany. And to get into it, I hope that was enough introduction. To get into it, what are high value remote UX UI jobs and why should they matter to you? Now, as you all can see, there are certain key points in all of this. In this particular sentence, we have high value, we have remote, we have UI UX jobs. I'm going to start from UI UX jobs. UI UX jobs, I don't want to go into what UI UX is. I believe we all know what it is the designing of the interface which users interact with in the context of the software product. Now, those are the kind of jobs we are going to be discussing today. Now, the next one is remote. Remote jobs or remote UI UX jobs are the ones you can do from wherever location in the world. You can be in your bedroom and be working for a company in, I don't know, in US or in Netherlands. Or you could even be within Nigeria if that is what you prefer. You could be in your house in Ikeja and working for a company in Lekki. So the goal regarding remote is that it is, believe me, anywhere you want to be. You can be on the beach in Ibiza, you can be somewhere in Mallorca, and you're actually working from there, regardless of where the company is actually located. The last one now is high value. Now, high value is a little bit, there are different metrics that you can use to quantify what high value is. I know most time we use money as a as the metric for defining what high value is, but I believe high value is way more than money. Obviously money is there, but I believe high value is directly proportional to the complexity of the project. An example, if you were going to be contracted by NASA in the US to work on a project, now that is an high value project. Obviously, there is a correspondence that the money will be huge, but from the level of the exposure you will get from the project, from the level of complexity that is going to be in that project, it is high value. And I always, my understanding is that for a serious and responsible high value project, is always directly proportional to the money you're going to get. So it's going to be huge and it's going to have a lot of remuneration, aka rubber. Now, with this context, I believe we are all on the same page on the topic we are talking about today. Now, a quick benefit of having a high value remote job. Number one is personal and professional growth opportunities. Believe me, I was working in Nigeria for a long time, and I believe, yes, there are huge projects. I had the opportunity to work with very brilliant people while I was in Nigeria. I had the opportunity to work on very good and wonderful projects. But I believe the maturity of the tech excellence of Nigeria is high, but it is not at the top echelon compared to the other parts of the world, for example. So you might never get that exposure in your growth, in your personal correspondence, if you don't work outside the shores of the Nigerian ecosystem. Now, I'm not saying this to bash Nigerian ecosystem, but from my own experience, you most likely will work with bigger companies. You most likely will work with huge tech unicorns if you're actually working internationally or working with a remote company. So this obviously is a way you can actually grow your personal and professional growth opportunity, your personal growth, your personal and your professional growth. Remote will give you that. Number two, exposure to diverse projects and industries. This is also similar to what I currently just stated above. You would have the opportunity not just to be confined to just one project or just one industry. You get to see many, many more, which will actually help you in your portfolio, which will help you in your growth as a designer, because the more you work on this huge project, the more you meet very talented people. And obviously, there are talented people in Nigeria, one of the most talented groups of people you can find in Nigeria. This is a sidebar, by the way. I can assure you, we Nigerians, I know we all know this, but inside Nigeria, it's like a proverb. A prophet is not appreciated in his own country. In Nigeria, we are not really celebrated. But I can tell you, outside of the shores of this country, whether you travel or you're working remotely, by the reason of the work other Nigerians have done, Nigerians are highly celebrated. Nigerians are very talented. Innately within us, we have that seed to be excellent. And it is just so much so that if we could just ensure that we go beyond that barrier and we actually get into any of these opportunities, is actually going to be evident that we're actually quite good. So when you work on remote jobs, not only will you be able to exhibit this, you will work with also other talented people across different countries. I've worked with people from South America, people from Europe, people from America, people from Asia, and you get to learn stuff from their own context also, compared to just working in Nigeria. So that's another benefit. Now, the last one is, of course, an increased earning potential. I don't need to spell this out for you. You would increase your disposable income significantly with a remote job. With the benefits laid down, I hope you are all enthused to now listen to my approach and now you can potentially get this. All I'm doing is just to prime you for the main convo. Now, with all I've said, with all of my explanation so far, how can you therefore now secure them? I believe there are three pillars you can actually leverage for you to get them. Now, a caveat, this is not something that is laid down in a rule book. This is my own perspective. This is my own advice from my own experience. I have been able to, by the grace of God, obviously, I have been able to move from someone who never knew anything about design to where I am today. And from the wealth of the experience I've garnered so far, I want to give you this particular advice, but this is not something that is laid down in the book or something. Now, with that caveat out of the way, how can you therefore now secure all I've been talking about? Increasing your design and other soft skills. I'm going to go deeper into each of them, by the way. Increasing your design and other soft skills, networking and engaging with design and tech communities, sharing your work far and wide. Now, there is no systematic way, to be fair. Some of them actually one could come before the other. This is not a sequential order. But these three key things, I believe, it is a potential way within the span of a particular time period. Most likely actually going to be a, a remote international travel. Now let us break each of them down now. Increasing your design, communication, and other soft skills. Um, One thing I always believe is skill is one of the most important, if not the most important fulcrum you need to be able to access these jobs. I would rather be very good. I would rather be very good than get the job and exhibit my excellence than getting the job and my skills are not there. Because you need to remember, most high valued UI UX remote jobs are not jobs that you are going to be working alongside other Nigerians. You're going to be working with designers from other parts of the world. Now, remember what I said. Don't ever feel like, oh yeah, imposter syndrome. Nigerians are one of the best out there. I'm not telling you to do, I mean, I've already said it. So obviously, it's not that there is a there is a, how can I put it, there is a limit per se. You understand? We are very good. But regardless, skill is not predicated on your nationality. You have to be good. Because if you're not good and you get there, you're going to embarrass. That's it. I will advise, first of all, be very, very, very good. And also, being good is not a construct of a particular time that, oh, after I spend 1 year, then I'm good, or after I spend 6 months. It is a continuous thing. You understand? It's something that over the course of, even I myself, I'm still increasing my design, communication, and lots of skills. You get. But there is a particular milestone you can reach in your journey of increasing your skills that you can clearly see that you've actually gotten good. So the first thing, first of all, is that your skills have to be there. You understand? Now, I've given like a quick bullet point, as it were, of how you could actually practicalize this. Gain a deeper understanding of design methodologies. Basically, design is mostly based on some principles that would help you get to your goal easily. You understand? It's not Design is not synonymous to painting or art. I mean, there are some, parallels you can draw, but it's not the same. Even in art, there is even principles and all, but design is much more structured. It's like science. It's like chemistry. You need to mix A and B to get C in some stage. So there are methodologies you need to be sounding. You need to improve your skills. And one important thing also, especially in the context of remote jobs, is soft skills are very, very important. It's not just about your design skills. Soft skills, especially communication and self-leadership, is very, very, very important. So increasing your communication and self leadership skills, because you are working remotely for a company that is in, I don't know, London. They don't see you, they don't have conversations with you every, like, face to face. Most of the time you are just going to be given a particular task to overcome in 2 weeks, for example, and you need to be able to lead yourself to be able to complete those particular tasks or to be able to achieve it. You understand my point? So it is very paramount that not only are you increasing your design skills, also your communication, your collaboration, and self-leadership skills is highly, highly improved. And as you are doing that, obviously, it is a continuous progress, stay updated with the latest UI UX trends, industry best practices, and so on. So for me, first of all, ensure that your skills is not just here, it is here. It is very, very, very important. if you're not comfortable with mediocrity, I will assure you that you need to make sure that your skills are excellent, especially for high valued international remote jobs. You need to be very good. But this is not to scare you, by the way, obviously. I mean, you are here today because you have the zeal to get very good. You are on the right path. Congratulate you. Number two, network and engage with design and tech communities. This is very key because one of the ways I got one of the companies I worked for in the past was because I was part of a design community in Slack. And the CEO posted, oh, we need designers for so and so, so and so, so and so. Then I sent my portfolio. Now, I was not the only person that sent portfolio. Like it was a large community. I'm sure a lot of people. I sent it and I even forgot. It was almost 2 months later because I don't check the Slack every day. It was almost 2 months I checked the Slack and I was like, ah. So this guy even messaged me back. And I was like, I hope he never go like this. Sorry, I was speaking pigeon. Hope it hasn't passed. The time frame hasn't passed. So I just messaged him that, oh yeah, sorry, I actually missed this message and whatever. I never believed he was actually going to get back to me. But when I messaged him initially, I sent a link to my past works and he really loved it. The level of quality I brought to the table was something that he was really amazed with. And even so, he was just bidding this time that, oh, this guy ever contacted him. And after contacting him about 2 months later, he reached out to me that, yeah, no problem. You get so to zero back on what I'm talking about right now, ensure that you are not siloed. You are in a design community. I'm sure that Jupiter has a community. But there are many communities in Twitter. There are some in Slack, maybe some in Discord. It is very important you are in a community because that is where you will see your potential teammates, as it were. And obviously, attend webinars. You are also, this is an example of one you're going to meet other people on call. So that is number two. Number three, which is equally as important as everything I've been saying so far, share your work far and wide. I have lost count of the amount of opportunities I've gotten because I shared my work. Now, this, like I initially stated about the ways to secure this thing, those steps I laid out are not sequential, like step one, step two, step three. Although in the scenario, we might sequential it later on. But I believe they could all be working simultaneously. So as you're increasing your skills, and for example, in the course of you learning, you've made some design artifact or screens. It might not be there, but at least share it. Because if you are, one of the things you need to deal with, especially when you get into design early, is to fight off the imposter syndrome stuff. You are learning, it's fine. Just ensure that what you're doing, you're sharing it. You understand? Always ensure that you're sharing the work. You might not even get, do you know the funniest thing? If you post on Twitter, you might not get any likes, maybe one like. Maybe the engagement is not that much, but people saw it. At least an average of 1,000 something views. If you actually check the analytics on Twitter, that's 1,000 something views that people that never saw you before, they don't know, but it has registered in their subconscious that there is somebody that does something like this. And if you did something regarding a particular industry, yeah, let's say a aviation now, whether you did the landing page for a aeroplane company, whatever now, someone have registered in their subconscious. If they need something relating to that, maybe they don't even need a designer, but they want to draw inspiration from it, they could actually go back to actually see it. And never can tell what can actually spring out of that. So ensure that you are always sharing your work. There are many ways to do it. LinkedIn, Twitter, Behance, Dribble. Ensure I did it. Funny enough, I did it a lot on Instagram. I shared a lot of my work on Instagram. It's just that I deleted everything later on to create my Instagram to look to another way. But please, I beg of you, ensure that you are sharing your work. Create a portfolio to put all of your works into it. It is very, very important. Now, with all of the approaches I have laid out earlier, how can we see this in action? How can this be relevant for you? Now, we are going to create an hypothetical scenario. This is someone, hypothetically, Ebon. Now, if your name is Ebon, this is fictional. This does not relate to you. There is no direct correlation. I just took a random name, as it were. And this person is a junior UX designer based perhaps in Nigeria, and they are passionate about securing a remote UX UI job. And I believe this persona might reflect a lot of people right now on this call. Is either you're a junior or you're entry level or you're already mid level. Regardless, I believe it's going to be a comparison. So in this scenario now, what does the person do? She develops a solid understanding of UI UX design principles. So they immerse themselves in learning about all of the design principles. They go into online courses, perhaps they join Jupyter Academy, they read about some insight in blogs and books. I remember then, while I was still early in my career, I read a lot of articles on oh my god, I forgot. Medium. Yes, I read a lot of articles on Medium actually. When I'm eating, there's perhaps a Medium article less than 3 minutes. I'm just eating and just reading it on my phone. You understand? So when I'm in the bus early in the morning going to lecture, you understand? I could just also be reading it. So I believe that investing in your skill is very important, because I will never want to be in a scenario, and I hope you're not in that kind of scenario whereby you get an opportunity, which is obviously difficult to get sometimes. You do get an opportunity, but your skills do not match up to what is needed. You are just going to embarrass yourself, to be sincere. And it's not something that you want to be. So she develops a solid understanding of design principles. She cultivates excellent communication and collaboration skills. She's very, very ardent in investing time in, because it seems that what is in communication is not just to speak English, it's different. It's way different in the context of a tech and a product team. There are ways you need to be able to manage, call them stakeholders, and there are ways you need to be able to manage difficult decisions, difficult discussions. If you had said you are going to work on this for 2 weeks, in the course of it, in course of you doing it, after a week, you realize that it looks like 2 weeks is not going to be enough. You need to communicate to your stakeholders, not that the day they are expecting it, at the end of that 2 weeks, you now say, actually, it does not reflect on you professionally. You need to be able to communicate very, very well. It is in fact, it is of the utmost important that you are an excellent communicator, especially in the context of remote work. After she has invested time, remember, she invested time in design principles, she's invested in excellent communication and collaboration skills. She builds a strong portfolio showcasing her skills and expertise. As she's building these design principles, this design knowledge, she's building a design muscle, as it were. She's, doing some screens, just, she's doing some artifacts from what she has learned. She's also doing it and collating all of them inside a portfolio. Portfolios are quite important because some or most potential employers we actually ask of this regardless. So it is actually paramount that you invest the bandwidth in the portfolio, especially at this stage. It's quite important. So don't forget, she has invested time in design knowledge. She has invested time in her communication skills. She's putting them inside her portfolio. Now, networking and engaging with the UI UX community. So this person joins design groups on Twitter, perhaps on Slack, Discord, and they attend design conferences, perhaps attend webinars like this. And the goal of all of this is to connect with other designers. Some of them are like, I was like, I really like your work. We actually have an opening. One of the easiest ways to get jobs after perhaps, I don't want to say even mid-level and senior, but one of the other easy ways to get the job is referral. So if you have a colleague or you have somebody who trusts in your abilities and the person is already working somewhere, it's very easy for them to say, okay, I have somebody. Before I left my company in Italia, I was told to choose my successor. You understand? So most people, when they leave a company, they'll be asked to choose a successor. And I think another company also said it to me too when I wanted to leave, that if you have somebody who is as talented as you, please, bring the person. You understand? So most of the time, the person that I even referred for one of the jobs was somebody I met on Instagram because his work was good and we built rapport. I never saw the guy before. I don't know who he is, but because I just saw him on Instagram, I followed him. I like his work. He likes my work. We just had this online bromance, whatever. And when I was leaving, it was his name I tailored down. And I think he later got the job. So ensure that you network and never be in a silo. Number 5, she shares her work far and wide. So they actively share their work on LinkedIn, Twitter, Behance, and perhaps even contribute to some people's posts on all of this community. LinkedIn, to cap it off, is as important. I will encourage every single person on this call. If you don't have a LinkedIn, please get a LinkedIn. Except you want to keep, in the context of Nigeria. But if you want international remote jobs, one of the quick ways. In fact, I am in this particular job right now in Germany because the employer saw me in LinkedIn. So it is very, very important that you all have LinkedIn accounts. You all ensure perhaps Jupiter, maybe they have it in their plans to also give insight on having a LinkedIn account that will actually attract international companies. But I will never stress this enough. Please ensure you have a LinkedIn account. Share your work there, build a community, connect with people. It's not by force that they know you or they are both in Nigeria, like connect with them and everything. Because when you connect with somebody, you are open to the people that follow them, that their network, and simultaneously. So it is very important that you connect on LinkedIn. So she shares her work far and wide. And I think this is the last step. So I believe with these 5 steps, there is a huge opportunity that this person will most likely get a high valued UX job. Oh yes. The last one now is more or less being proactive. The last one I'll be talking about is reactive, whereby they might reach out to you, or they most likely reach out to you by the reason of your skill, you've shared your work, you joined the community. Now, if you feel like you are quite, your skill has gotten to the point whereby you are able to rub shoulders with the best of the best, I will advise you perhaps you also, leverage online platforms and job boards to actually get jobs. Now, funny enough, I don't know the one I can recommend, to be sincere. I have not searched for jobs in a while, but one way could be obviously LinkedIn, maybe Dribble or Beyond. You understand? While it is good to search for jobs, I believe it is as equally important. I believe your skill also has the potential of even finding jobs for you. Your skill matched with you sharing your work to a community has the potential of opening opportunities for you. And I believe while applying for jobs is a good way to get a job, the easiest or the greatest way has always been referral. You understand? So, and you only get referrals when you have a community and you have people you've connected with in the design community. But in case you want to be proactive, you can also do this. Now, with this being said, we are now in the summary at the end of my presentation. So far, so good. We've talked about what I value remote UI UX jobs are and why they are important, the growth, the exposure, the money. We talked about an approach on how to secure them. your skill is very important, is the pivot, at least because some people will not say skill, but I've seen some people, they are very loud in the community, they are very, when they are come and do it, spec elements they are doing, like it's not something that you'll be like with all your mouth. So this is what you can do. You don't want to be in that scenario. You want to be very, very good at what you do. Skill, have a community, and ensure that you are sharing your work everywhere. Then lastly, we experimented with a scenario. So I come to the end of my presentation. Any questions, please let it read. And if you have questions, just raise up your hand.
Okay, thank you.
Questions is left in here.
Okay, thank you so very much for this insightful session, Lekon. I mean, I'm pretty sure our audience have tons of questions to ask. I can see hands up already. So yeah, before I start taking questions, big thank you, Lekon, for sharing this great, amazing insight as to how we can secure high value UX remote jobs. Right. Okay. So Victor, I see your hands is up. You have the floor. Sorry, you have the mic. You can unmute and ask your question, please.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Victor.
Yeah, we have two Victors here, but I'm not sure of the second person, but I have a question. Yeah, as a newbie in the tech world, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
As a newbie in the tech world, I always hear build your portfolio, put your portfolio. So what is it all about, and how do we go about doing that?
Excellent question. Now, first of all, I'll start with the definition of a portfolio. A portfolio is a compendium of all your works. It is not a term that was derived by designers, for example. It is a term that is used loosely across different industries. But a portfolio is a collection of everything you've done in the past to serve as a validation that you know what you are doing to a potential employer. It is a representation of all of the processes, all of the screens, everything you've literally done in the past. That is what the portfolio is. Photographers use it, whatever use it, and designers also, we have to use it. Now, when a potential employer wants to have a conversation with you, they don't know who Victor is, and they don't know what you can do. You understand? Or you said that on your resume, you can do A, you can do B, you can do C. One way they can actually see all what you have been talking about is the portfolio, whereby they will see the screens from your past project and yada yada. So that's what the portfolio is. Now, how do you go about creating a portfolio? That is also a conversation that is actually quite as huge as what we just had today. And I can perhaps give you a quick answer. You have to first of all ensure that you took down, not just take down. First of all, you need to actually have some projects, number one. Then after projects, you document them and you place them in a single place. So the most common way is actually having an online portfolio. I have an online portfolio, lalekon.com. You actually see all of my passwords there. You understand? Some people actually also use Google Drives, whereby they have a Google Drive whereby they stored all of their works in PDF and they share that link. They share the link to employers. Some use Figma, some use Framer. You understand? So there are multiple ways, although the most popular one is using a website to actually have a compendium of all your work stored in a place and sharing it out with employers. I'm sure that there are more deeper explanation on this, and now you actually can create them. But for the quick answer, that is all I can say. I hope that is enough.
Yeah, pretty insightful. Yeah, and I understand. Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, thank you. So, Abuba Emmanuel, your hand is raised. Can you ask your question, please? Then Michael next. Okay, Michael, and then Drew. Sorry, is Michael on the
Hello.
call, please? You can. Yeah, hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Sorry, I thought I'll mute my mic. Good afternoon, Olalekan. Thank you very much for this section. I've really learned a lot. I am a front end developer, but I I want to transition into UI UX, and then I've been taking some courses recently. So I want to ask, how will someone know that they are good enough? Like, how will you know that because you talked about quality of your work before applying, so you won't go there and disgrace yourself. So how will someone know that their work is good enough, that it has actually met the pass mark? And then what would you suggest is the best method of learning UI UX that will get you to that level when you know you're good enough?
Okay, thank you, Abuba. So, I was, to be fair, anticipating this question. Regarding the skill threshold, or regarding the taste, I call it the taste threshold on how you know your work is good enough. Funny enough, there are multiple thresholds for this. There are multiple ceilings depending on the person. For someone, they feel like this one is good enough too now. And there are some that feels like, no, I need to get there. So there has to be a balance, obviously, unless perfection is the enemy of completion. You always want to get it like very finessed. And also you also don't want to create something that is not presentable, as it were. So what do? Two ways. Number one is to have a guiding light, which perhaps is a mentor. A mentor, most likely someone who is very experienced in this, can be sort of your litmus test, or someone that actually can say, oh, yeah, cool. Because for me, now I would say I am a Don Capone of design, but to be fair, I can actually tell a design that is in line with the latest trends. And the way I tell is that I look at the current trends, to be fair. So how do I know a design has gotten there? Is by me just opposing it to the current trends right now, to be sincere. It's not that I have an internal knowledge that can make me make that decision. You understand? So if I was someone that someone brought their work to me that, oh, what do you feel? Do you feel this can actually even get a job? Or if I do get a job, will you feel this is quality? I can be able to assess in just opposition to the current design trends right now on, okay, this is actually, this is sustainable for you. You get. So that is the way. So it's just opposing your work to the current trends right now. But maybe as an entry level, as a junior designer, you may not be able to fully make that comparison. A mentor will most likely be the person to actually just say, oh yes, I feel like this can actually be there. You actually at this particular level. Now, it doesn't even mean that your work has to be one-to-one with what the current design leaders are doing. It's just going to be that your work is in a spectrum in comparison to what they are doing. So you might be, by the reason of what you can do, still be a junior, and it's fine. Many companies have junior designers as a stage. My company has junior designers. We have junior designers, we have mid-level designers, we have senior designers, we have principal designers, we have executive principal designers, we have head of designs, we have director of designs. So obviously, someone who is a junior cannot just oppose their work to what the principal does. It's obvious. You get the concept. So it just depends on where you are at your particular growth level. Then we can be able to say, oh, as a junior, this is your work. This is what you can do. But if you are trying to punch into seniority, maybe you need to actually increase it. And the best person to give you that that assessment will be somebody who is way senior than you to give you that assessment. So is majorly looking at your work in line with what the trends are saying, and the mentor will be the best mentor to do that for you. Now, the best place to learn is UI UX. The answer is that there are multiple ways around. There's so many. You understand that I don't even know where to start from. But what I can always advise is to join somewhere like an academy or a boot camp. I have people who did boot camps for 6 months, and after that 6 months, they got jobs in huge companies here in Europe. So I will advise you that, because there's YouTube, there's Udemy, there's awards, there's literally everywhere. You don't even know where to start from. You basically, that's one of the things about tech UI UX these days. But I will advise joining somewhere that actually has a curriculum, somewhere that actually has steps on how you actually can get there. You understand? And to vet the curriculum or to vet their syllabus, also perhaps a guy like the mentor who actually can, the person that has that bandwidth to be able to do it. So those are my answers to your questions. I hope those are sufficient enough.
Thank you very much. I'm clear now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Emmanuel. Michael, and then you.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please. You can.
Okay. Okay. Is
Yeah,
Michael
Michael.
talking?
Yeah, Yes, Michael is.
Okay, good afternoon. So my question goes as this. So I'm currently newbie into UI UX. I've been a graphic designer for a while. So I've worked on a particular project which I'll just finish this particular month. So I'm in a group that's teaching UI UX. So in that group, they said emphasis on right now for a newbie was UI, being very good in UI before stepping into UX. But for high value jobs, especially remote jobs, do you also think that applies? I don't know if you get the point I'm trying to make. There was more emphasis on UI development than UX because that has a better hiring potential than except if you want to be a UX researcher. So does that apply to high value remote jobs?
Excellent point. Excellent point. Now, the funny enough is that I also was a graphic designer before I switched into product design and UI UX. Now, funny enough, most Nigerian designers, especially those who started 2010, 2011, 2012, most were actually also from the background of graphics design. And there was just a time frame that we all just went into UI UX. Over the time of that transition, maybe in 2015, 2016, to this particular time, those people that made that transition have, overpopulated every part of the world, America, Europe. Nigerian designers are literally everywhere. Now, why did I lay down this timeline? When a graphics designer, someone who has been on the visual part of design for a while, graphics designer is basically visual communication. You are very good in organizing colors, understand typography and everything, and you bring that knowledge into design. Most of the time, by the reason of our experience in visual communication, we focus on UI. And as a result of that, we develop very, very strong muscles in UI, and our UI skills are very, very good. Now, wherever we go to, there is a significant celebration of our UI skills. Now, with that being said, that was just a sidebar. With that being said, if you want to be, I think you're right, Michael, if you want to be in the context of Nigeria startups, Nigerian companies, most of the time you only need UI, to be sincere, because UX is more strategic. UX goes beyond just going to Figma or going to Sketch or whatever other people use to just lay out screens. UX is literally you sitting down, thinking about the problem, thinking about the people you are designing for, because the people that Apple designs the Apple Watch for is not the same people they have in mind when they design their iPhones. It's literally different. You understand? But I don't want to go into that now. So UX actually takes a step back. First of all, understands the problem. First of all, tries to gain more insight on the problem, profile potential solutions, look at the backgrounds of each of the users, understand that demographics, perhaps continues and does user research. Is going to go, the UX perhaps even further go into understanding, perhaps even do user interviews in relation to user research. From all what I've been saying now, you can see is actually way more complex, way more intensive, way more expensive. You understand? Because user research costs a lot. So as a result of this, most projects within the context of Nigeria might not even do it. And as a result of that, you will not develop muscle for it. UI is enough. But if you want to be, especially you want to be a product designer who starts from the start of the project and even to the end of the project, not just UI, UX, also involved in research, also involved in synthesis of the data and the likes. UX is, I mean, is hugely important. You understand? While I was in Nigeria, all the companies I worked for, we were just doing UI. The last one I worked with, we had somebody who was just doing UX. The person was not even Nigerian, she was Portuguese. So she was the one working out of Portugal for a Nigerian company and handling all of the UX work. So she's the one that speaks to the client. She's the one that understands what the client wants. She does the sketches, does the wireframes. And when the client have okay the wireframes, they now ship it to us, the UI gurus, as it were, in Lagos here, to come and do some magic on it. You understand? But if you truly want to enjoy the full scope of the product development process, your UI skills have to be also heightened, very, very heightened. Now, if you now as a designer don't have UX skills, but you're very good in UI, are you going to get high value remote jobs? Yes, you can, but the bucket of jobs you will get will be small. I worked for a company called Fantasy in the US, and they focus on UI design. Like, in fact, they call their designers visual designers. They don't call them UI, it's visual designers. And we have people who were like junior UI designer, senior UI designer, or whatever. So if you are lucky to find those companies that they just want your UI skills, my God, you're going to do very well. But if you want companies that, and you want more companies, you want your scope of opportunities to actually broaden, especially outside the context of Nigeria, your US skills also has to be comparable. There was I'm also a member of the design company called TopTal. And when I first applied for TopTal, I was denied because they said your UI skills are superb, no doubt. But your US skills, we don't see the research. We don't see the work you had with the users. We don't even know there's literally no backing. And UX is more than wireframes, by the way. There is literally nothing that gives us an overview of the full scope of the PDP, of the product development process. So we want you to go and work more on your UX before you come to us. So if you want more opportunities, if you want more complex projects, if you want to go more end-to-end, if you want the scope of your net to be bigger, I would advise, especially outside Nigeria, I would advise also develop the UX module. But with UI, you can also get jobs, but the scope will be little, very, very little. Yeah. I hope that answers your question, Michael.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Davidson. After Davidson, we have Princess, and that will be the last question we'll be taking for the afternoon, guys. So sorry. Okay, so Davidson, Miracle, over to you.
Good afternoon. So thank you for this topic. So I have a question. What if, let's say now you have the skill, like you are able to develop this skill, but like you want a tutorial that would advance your skill, not just like to start learning what is UI UX. You want to like get more knowledge on your skill. As what kind of tutorial would you look for? Because the ones I see, most bootcamp, what they mostly offer is for beginners, newbies. Like, though I have not like gotten an official job as a UI, but I know that I have exceeded that beginning level. I have laid my foundation. I just want to start up from there. That's my question.
Excellent point, this Miracle. Perhaps a segue from what Michael has mentioned. I believe, if I'm to make an hypothesis now, your skills are strong, perhaps maybe even in the UI part, or you could also be in the UX. So if you envisioned that, okay, when it comes to you, I'm quite solid, I will advise perhaps you also look into the UX part and also ensure that you bring your levels to a comparable, bring your knowledge in UX to a comparable level to that of UI. I've seen many, the sad reality is that you can even be excellent in UX and not so good in UI. and you have more opportunities than those who are excellent in UI and also in UX. It's weird, but that is just the truth. So if you feel, because it's actually two disciplines, I don't know, for some reason we've always just combined two of them together. You can solely be a UI designer. There are many roles like that, and you can solely be a UX designer. So if you realize that, oh yeah, when it comes to UI, actually, then also perhaps ensure that your UX also brought to that level, except you want just to focus on one particular level. Now, if in this scenario, I don't know your scenario right now, both of them have now actually gotten to a high level, you can modify your search in not just saying, oh, one way I usually used to do it for myself is that I ensure that in my search criteria, I use advanced product design courses or advanced interaction design skills. I actually understand your point, Davidson. You could perhaps just add that extra caveat to your search criteria, maybe intermediate level of tutorials. So whether you're searching on Udemy or YouTube, I cannot give you a specific place you can search from. You can get it from literally Udemy, Skillshare, Hours, and everything. Yeah, there are many places. Even Jupyter perhaps could even offer it. But in your search criteria, I believe some of this product, at least I know the one I use is Awards, AWWARDS. They have different tiers. So for every course, they will tell you this is a basic course. Don't even worry yourself. They will tell you this is a intermediary course. They will tell you this is an advanced level course. You understand? So some courses actually even put the differentiation in them. You understand? So if you could find the one that will actually give you the ability to filter by the level, that's fine. So I hope I have answered your question as quick as possible.
All
Kind
right.
of.
So we have one more.
Thank you, Miracle. Yeah, Abdul Rashid Mohammed, if you're on the call, please ask your question. And that'll be the last question because of time, guys. So sorry. You can save your questions for our next webinar. So yeah, Abdul Rashid Mohammed. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the presentation, Alami Alaikum. My question is that you're a UX designer who is just starting and have a little knowledge about Figma, but I find it difficult with colors. I find it difficult when I design finish and giving colors to my designs. I find it difficult. I don't know if there's any way or method I can improve my color combination and designs also.
Oh, excellent question, Abdul Rashid. I'm glad to announce you're not the only one. Everyone actually goes through this, to be sincere. Now, regarding not just the book colors, if you remember, one of the things I spoke in earlier slides is like the design methodologies, the design principles. Design is not about only feels, although there are like, yeah, by the reason of you being experienced, you can actually use your eye to already determine it. But the core of true design is, especially in UI, UX, and product design, there are methodologies, there are design principles that guide our behavior, as it were. So when it comes to typography now, there are design principles. For example, if you have an header and a paragraph, you don't make them the same size, obviously. The header has to be bigger, the paragraph has to be smaller. You don't make them the same width. The header perhaps has to be of bold, the paragraph has to be, regular. You understand? So there are principles that guide typography, there are principles that guide contracts, and also principles that guide colors. You understand? So in this kind of scenario, I will advise you to go more into, I think there are an extensive amount of articles. If you don't have the time for you to actually spend in reading the book, there are articles on Medium that you actually can read to get an understanding of how you actually can combine colors effectively. I wish I could just give you a solution to it right now, but no, it comes with investing time in actually learning it. That's number one. Number two, it also comes with experience. You understand? The more you work on it, the more you also look at other designs. That's why you have to ensure that you are looking at the work of other talented people all over the world too. Not just the scope of Nigeria, every talented people. So go to Dribble, go to Beyonce, look at the way they approach their designs, their colors, and everything. You will begin to see correlation of what you've already learned in the articles, in the books, in the YouTube videos. You will begin to see a direct correlation to what they are doing. And from this, your subconscious automatically begins to learn, okay, you don't put red and blue in their full force on a particular page together. Oh, you don't put black and black for primary and secondary button together. So you will see that when you have digested all of these articles, all of these books, all of these YouTube videos, and you actually expose yourself to the work of talented people, you begin to see correlation, and you also begin to practice. It is a systematic change that happens. You understand? It's not something that just happens out of the blue. You just have to invest time in it. But don't lose the fire. Don't get discouraged. If I show you my previous designs 10 years ago or 8 years ago, you also be like, wow, oh, perhaps they're even better than what you're currently doing now. So like, it is just a journey. Ensure that you are learning, looking at what other people are doing, and also practicing. Thank you.
All right.
All
Please.
right.
Sorry.
Thanks.
You said about the article. If you can please drop the article in the comments box, I'll be glad to follow it up. And concerning my other question is, can you please help with a guide or a way to build a professional portfolio that showcase our designs?
For the articles, I don't have an exact article, but you could actually go to medium.com. Medium actually has an extensive amount of articles there. Another one is, if you even just go to YouTube, how to actually combine colors in UI, you actually get a lot of articles. So ensure that you go to the bucket that actually host all of these things. Medium is an excellent one. For 3-5 minutes, you've already, like as you are eating, just hold your phone. Before you finish eating, you've already read an article. Easy peasy. And for the portfolio topic, that is a huge bit. I cannot give you an answer in a minute or two. I believe perhaps Jupiter can add it to the list of courses they actually can do, or they actually can showcase also. But a portfolio, you also could even read on Medium, on YouTube. I'm saying this because that's what I did. I read a lot. I watch YouTube a lot. I'm still doing it. I pay for courses every single day. That is the only way you can ensure that you are lifting up your skills. It is a journey. It's not something that happens in a month or two. It is something that within the confines of 6 months to a year, if you start today in this particular June, by next year June, you won't recognize yourself if you truly invest in it. So thank you.
Thank you so very much, Abdulrasheed. Thank you, Laliko. So we have on a comment section. Okay, Laliko, someone wants you to review her portfolio. So she said it on the comment section, so you can please look that up. And then Olaifa Olupegwa. Okay, well, okay, thank you so much for your comments. All right, we're grateful for this. Yeah. Okay, thank you guys for your questions. Okay, we have a question from Elisha, right, Leko. So as a budding UI UX designer, I want to know if starting out as an intern is the best way to go to build myself more, and how can I secure one? So that's for you, Laliko.
I mean, being an intern, if you can't get it, it is an extreme privilege that will obviously elevate yourself. It's going to be the opportunity to work with, not just like up there as maybe mentors that you only see once a week, but you are literally in the trenches with them, and as they are working, you are looking at it, they are reviewing your work, you understand. So I have had the opportunity to be to actually have interns, and I've seen the way their career have actually progressed. So if you can't get it, my God, it's also a testament on your resume that you've able to secure the particular place, and it is easy for you to spend 6 months or maybe 1 year as an intern, and obviously build a resume and build a portfolio that you can use to get another job that will be higher than an intern. So if you can't get it, amazing. How do you get one now? I mean, that's a big question. Right now, it might be difficult to get an intern role if the company is not looking for an intern role. You understand? So you have to first of all find if they are looking for an intern role. But before you can get there, all of these things I've listed earlier to ensure that you are good, ensure that you have a good portfolio. You understand? I think those two is even enough said. But one way you actually can see those opportunities is if also you're engaging with the community, and in the community somebody posted that you're looking for interns. So by the reason of your portfolio skills, you can easily just make your case to them. So there is no just one single route. And also if you have somebody that is working there, that person can also lay down your name that we are looking for intern. This guy is very good. You get so yeah, there are literally multiple ways. For those who are also doing masters, companies come to the university. So there are many ways to actually get an internship. That's why I said if you do get one, I'm happy for you to be sincere. And if you could get it, then obviously it is an excellent way to build your skills. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much. Okay, so Ola Abdul Rashid. So you have to look out for on our website. We'll have blogs. We'll always write articles. So trust me, our next article is going to be on how you can secure high value UX remote jobs, right? So of course, we always drop articles on a weekly basis. So yeah, just look out for that, Abdul Rashid and others on this call. Right. Okay, so moving on. To, of course, thank you guys for being a part of the session from start to now. So we're running out of time. So sorry we couldn't take everybody's questions, but thank you for the shout out. Thank you guys for being the best, right? So yeah, moving on. So because we have a UI UX course, right? We offer UI UX design course at Jupiter Academy. I have to become a certified UI UX designer in 6 weeks. And guess what, guys? We're offering a 20% scholarship for all of you on this call. So if you're looking to start your career, kickstart your career as a UI UX designer,